So the Virginia governor story continues to be the story that keeps you chuckling day in and day out. Remember, he was initially in trouble for comments he made regarding abortion, and then a yearbook photo surfaced of him on his yearbook page in medical school with someone in blackface and in a KKK outfit. And then he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, one of those people were me, but I apologize." Then he says, "Nah, I remember, now one of them weren't me, and I know that because I dressed up in blackface as Michael Jackson once." And then in a press conference, while he's discussing this, he almost does the moonwalk when requested, till his wife has to tell him it would be inappropriate. So, yeah, it's been quite the humorous story. Aside from the, killing babies in the third trimester and possible infanticide angle. Anyways, this pictured is Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. He would be who would take over if the governor, Northam, was forced to resign. The story today involves Justin Fairfax and just more insanity from the left. Apparently, about a year ago, a woman accused the lieutenant governor of sexual assault. This was reported to the Washington Post, apparently, and they decided not to run the story because they didn't find there was enough evidence. So this story is again resurfaced where the site Big League Politics, which was the site that originally ran the Northam photo from the yearbook, reported on this accusation of sexual assault. And Fairfax releases a statement that says, "This is outrageous. This never happened." The fact that the Washington Post looked into the story and didn't find any evidence to run the story, to give a legitimate reason to run the story, proves that this is garbage. Well, this brings up many problems for the Democrats, because remember hashtag Me Too? Remember Believe All Women? Okay, why is it different today? Now, the very people, the Democrats begrudgingly are calling for Northam to step down, but that's okay because Justin Fairfax will take it over. Now, let's see them explain why it's okay for Justin Fairfax, despite being credibly accused of sexual assault, to maintain his position. Now, ultimately, I agree that Fairfax should be treated innocent until proven guilty. I have said this in every single case, Republican and Democrat. I said the same thing about Al Franken, for example, on the left. I made tons of videos why this mentality was stupid in Kavanaugh, and it would come back to bite the very people that were wielding this. And now we see that exactly happening. So, all of the people that said hashtag Believe All Women, now what? Now all of a sudden you see them saying, "Oh, well, this is clearly a smear by the Republicans. This is clear. Look at the timing of it." Oh, you mean like the timing of the Kavanaugh allegations, where a woman sat on it for decades, didn't say anything, and then until he was going to be nominated to the Supreme Court, then the Democrats sat on that accusation for months until literally the very last minute? Oh, you mean like that? Or they'll say, "Well, there's no evidence whatsoever against Fairfax." Oh, you mean like there wasn't any evidence against Kavanaugh, except claims from someone like Christine Blasey Ford, whose own people she said as witnesses, one of which was her best friends, couldn't corroborate her story? I mean, the story, it's perfectly analogous. This is what happens. When you say, "No, it's her truth. We have to believe all women." This is what happens. Now, Fairfax, he could be totally innocent. Other than this, I mean, he's a Democrat. I probably don't like a lot of his policies. I don't know any reason to dislike this man. He could be a totally upstanding person. We just disagree in politics. Now, must his life be ruined as well, like Kavanaugh's was? Must the Democrats that caused for Kavanaugh to step down, must they now call for this man to step down? Will they be calling for an FBI investigation? And the Washington Post, how noble of them. Oh, they wouldn't run the story because they didn't have the facts to back it up. Didn't stop them with Kavanaugh. How many mainstream sites were running stories about Kavanaugh gang raping people, or Kavanaugh, some man having to punch Kavanaugh on a boat where he sexually assaulted someone, or him raping some woman in a car? All stories which had to be retracted, which were total garbage. But the media, including the Washington Post, ran with them. Bam. Didn't matter. But they're going to be very careful when it's a Democrat, right? Oh, well, we don't want to rush to judgment. Of course, they're right. I don't think we should rush to judgment. I don't think that Fairfax should have to resign. I don't think he should be unfairly smeared for this. If the woman has a credible accusation, she should approach law enforcement, and law enforcement should do an investigation. But that's not the Democrat standard. So let's see them. Where's Nancy Pelosi? Where's Cory Booker today? Where's Kamala Harris talking about her truth, his alleged victim's truth? Let's hear about them. Where was Fairfax during Kavanaugh? Was he speaking up saying, "No, this is wrong. We should have due process. He should be considered innocent until proven guilty"? His party that he represents, their official stance was believe all women. That he should step down. He shouldn't have his, they're not saying it's not a trial. Remember this with Kavanaugh? It's not a trial. We're just saying he shouldn't have this powerful public office. That's all. That's all we're saying. Okay, then let's apply the same here, right? If Northam has to step down, even if Northam doesn't step down, right? According to them, Fairfax, believe all women, Fairfax should have to step down. Do you want someone who's a sexual assaulter being lieutenant governor or possibly governor if Northam has to step down. This just proves the insanity of the Democratic standard of hashtag believe all women. It's their truth. This postmodernist cultural Marxist idea. Of course, they won't hold Fairfax to the same standard because they believe in identity politics and cultural Marxism. The number one influencing factor, I'm sure you're all divided. You've heard me talk about it. You're divided based on race, gender, all these other things. One group's oppressor, the other groups are oppressed. But remember, the most important thing is that no matter which of those groups you fall in, it only applies if you toe the party line. So conservatives, Republicans, bad. Democrats, progressives are good. So here's someone who's a Democrat and progressive, plus he belongs to a bunch of oppressed groups, such as he's black. Therefore, hey, we can't believe all women in this case. We have to let's go through facts, which ironically, they're right. That's how we should approach all of these situations. But they didn't approach it with Kavanaugh, did they? And I warned them over and over, just like with the yearbook business on Kavanaugh. You saw me do a video last week where I said, how many times did I say in Kavanaugh videos, is this the standard the left wants? Where now politics is going to be going back and looking at yearbooks from the 80s, decades long ago, see if we can find anything offensive. That's what we want. I said it's the standard we want. Any accusations enough to have anyone step down from public office? And so our politics will now just be, go back through yearbooks, go back and find any accusations. Who cares what your policies are? Who cares what your ability to lead is? We're just going by all that stuff. I said, that's a mistake. It'll eventually be used against the Democrats as well. They didn't care. Kavanaugh was terrible. He drank beers, right? He got upset when people said, Fairfax in his statement, he sounded very upset. He said this was outrageous, an attempt to smear him. Well, according to the left and the cabinet, the fact that Fairfax would be upset proves his guilt, right? I mean, he was accused of sexual assault. When will the Democrats go back and look at his yearbook? When will they demand FBI investigations? You won't see any of it. We know the answer. So again, this is just more proof of the double standard. I want to make it clear. I am not saying Fairfax is guilty. I am not saying he should step down. I am saying that he should be afforded innocent until proven guilty. If Northam steps down, he rightfully should be the governor of Virginia. But the left should be held to their own standards. And nice to see that the media, places like the Washington Post, they're impartial though. Democracy dies in darkness. That's their slogan, right? They're real journalists. Oh, when it comes to a Democrat, they actually do what they're supposed to, and when there's a sexual assault allegations, look into the claims before running them. But when it was Kavanaugh, hey, just run any garbage. Doesn't matter, right? So nice to see that double standard proved again. More example that you see every day of the hypocrisy from the Democratic Party. And I'll just say real briefly, because I've heard this complaint with some of my videos. I don't mean you that are listening that's the individual Democrat. I don't mean the individual Democrat voter. I don't even mean everyone who's in the Democratic Party as a politician. But that was their mainstream message out of the Kavanaugh hearing. That was the top leaders of the party doing it. And so if they thought that way with Kavanaugh, why shouldn't they feel this way? It's more hypocrisy from them, and it shows the dangers of getting rid of things like innocent until proven guilty. Hey, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell button so you get alerts when I do more videos. Look for me doing more videos daily, and recommend me some other people if you don't mind. So, all right, everyone, have a good one.